Okay, here we are now. We're going to try and talk about Lebanon. Is this a subject for anybody but a Lebanese person to talk about? Should I be talking about it as an outsider? Oh, I don't know, but I will. I mean, the demonstrations in Lebanon. We see demonstrations worldwide now. I mean, Barcelona, the people are demonstrating. And they have no chance of success, but still they demonstrate. Hong Kong, the people are demonstrating, and they have no chance of success, or at least arguably, but still they demonstrate. They demonstrate because their hearts are passionately engaged, and they feel they have nothing to lose. They feel that freedom is more important than bread. And these are, in Lebanon, demonstrations. They're not revolution. I mean, we may not have seen in modern history demonstrations on this scale in Lebanon. But it is not revolution. But it's huge. It's not intifada, it's not revolution, it's not intifada, uprising, it's not yet Thawra, revolution, but it's huge. And watch out, it could go further. Yes. I mean, everywhere there have been protests, even in the south. Protests against Hezbollah. Well, there have been protests against Nabi Berri, yes, and from Amal, accusing him of corruption. And he's allied, is he not, in some respects to Hezbollah? So, yes. And there was harassment, by the way, of the demonstrators by Nabi Berri's groups, and they've had to stop that disgusting behavior. Because it was viewed and seen on television. And yes, so even everybody is responsible for this mess in Lebanon. I don't know what to say about it. It's certainly disturbing the rest of the world. In Iran, there are rumors they cut the internet in Avaz because they didn't want Arabs in Avaz to see the what was going on in Lebanon. Yeah, and they're talking now in Iraq that Lebanon will inspire greater demonstrations now, a resurgence of the same demonstrations we've seen, but on another scale, because these things feed off one another, don't they? It spreads. Yes, it's not intifada yet, it's not Thawra yet, it's not revolution yet. Partly, it's not organized. There's no leadership. People go to the streets without organization. It may develop, but so far there is no leadership, no clear manifesto. There are all kinds of statements. Some are, many are, most of them are calling for government change and an end to corruption. But there are also personal issues creeping in. Citizenship for Palestinians who have Lebanese mothers. Some people want jobs. There are all sorts of issues and resentments coming in and surfacing here. It's not one united cause, but Hariri made some gestures in a reform paper put out by him, which talked about reducing the deficit without taxing the poor. Well, he was going to tax the poor, wasn't he? Now he wants to tax companies and use measures of that kind. And he scrapped the measures he had put in, the cruel measures against the poor. But can we get anywhere like this? Is it enough? No, it's not enough. You have a corrupt government of national unity. And Berri, Hariri, Jumblat, Jaja, Akhun, this corrupt crowd, are they not? Well, then maybe not all of them. Not all of them. Some of them in these parties are honest, good people. It's not a blanket situation where everybody is corrupt, but And yes, and then you'll say to me, will you, that Nasrallah is not corrupt? Well, come on, he has got to be accused too, because he's responsible, because he is a silent part of the government of national unity. He is doing nothing to help the situation. Nothing to help. And so Hezbollah is culpable, just as culpable as the other parties in this government of national unity. And we will see more demonstrations. I did note that the 3 ministers from Jaja's bloc resigned. I suppose that at least is honourable. I'm not a close follower of Lebanese politics, but there is clearly distrust between the people and the government. Spontaneous demonstrations are dangerous and emotional because they have they have serious geopolitical impact. And why are the people on the street? Well, they cannot buy a house. There's no free medical care. There's no free education. I mean, this and the government, everybody is keeping quiet. You know, none of the major leaders are making a statement. It's not only Nasrallah who's cowardly, but the whole lot of them. The whole lot of them. There's a complete failure because of this peculiar Lebanese corruption at core. Now, each party, you do have decent people, but you also have corrupted people. And like I just said, Hezbollah has had no positive impact. So don't go and whitewash them. They have no positive impact. If you make a coalition government of national unity, you can't achieve anything unless you make... We can't make any decisions, can you? Not with a coalition government of national unity. It is a pathetic way to behave and only useful in time of war. Otherwise, people should not form coalition governments of national unity. They decide nothing. And then don't forget the Syrian refugee presence. They're absorbing money from the Lebanese budget. There are, 1.8 million of them? There are 5 million, 1.8 million refugees, a 5 million Lebanese population. Many of these Syrians are in different kinds. They're taking jobs from the Lebanese. Yes, they are. And it's all very well. Of course, they have no choice but to be there. But it's part of the equation. The whole world is failing to support Lebanon. And Lebanon has an economic crisis, and it has this vast burden of refugees. First Palestinian, now it has Syrian refugees. And so Syrians are becoming the cheap, skilled labor force for farming, for instance, and other jobs of that kind. And they're opening groceries or clothing stores or restaurants, and they're obviously more competitive than the Lebanese. And in a supermarket a year ago, you'd been served by mixed Lebanese and foreign workers. Now they're just employing Syrians because they are cheap, really cheaper than any Lebanese, any foreigners. Okay. So that's one gripe people have. Then they stopped the housing support for mortgages. You know, the government stopped supporting mortgages. And so what happened then? Then the private banks followed the suit from the government. The nasty little bankers copied the government and stopped giving mortgages. So the property market collapsed. Of course it did in Lebanon. So what did that do? It meant the building workers were unemployed. Yeah, and there's no foreign investors. It meant because it's high risk to invest in Lebanon. Oh my goodness! The government should resign. That's what we need now in Lebanon. We need all of them to resign. All of them should resign. Every last one of them. Every minister. Every single one. And you should make an entirely new government, perhaps of technocrats, fit to be ministers. I mean, actually, the president, before he resigns himself, and he should go with the rest of them, should actually, if he's a man of honor and distinction, he should begin to set up an alternative government ready to replace Hariri before Hariri resigns with all of his ministers. I mean, these billionaires with dual nationality, I'm not specifically talking about Hariri, I'm talking about the whole. I mean, Hariri's lost a lot of his money, hasn't he? Because the Mohammed bin Salman confiscation of his money. But nonetheless, many of these people in government are billionaires with dual nationality and keeping their money abroad. And we need to bring in new blood in Lebanon, highly qualified people, and people who work on a new electoral law that empowers Parliament. We need that in Lebanon. The 1943 deal, whereby the Prime Minister is Sunni, the Speaker Shia, and the President, Christian is it? I mean, no, wait a minute, I've got that wrong, I think. Anyway, the point is, no, I haven't, that's right. The point is that it doesn't fit anymore, because Lebanon's genuinely secular. Come on, it is. We need to get out of this old-fashioned stuff. I was talking earlier about racism, sectarianism, about this whole attitude of this me, you, and the other. Lebanon is and must become more and more a secular society and stop this sectarianism. This religious discrimination. We need it to be one country, one nation, pulling together. And is my opinion. So what are ways to reform Lebanon politically? I mean, what do you think? Should Lebanon have one national constituency as Israel does, one nation constituency, or as indeed before the Maliki reforms, Iraq had one nation constituency? It's an interesting way. Or what? We need some electoral reform, but essentially what we need to do in Lebanon is to see the parliament empowered, so that we disempower these corrupt ministers. We need an end to the government of national unity. That project has failed. You cannot have ongoing corruption like this. It is just, people have every justification to demonstrate as things are. And tinkering with little gestures at reform, as Hariri has done, is not enough. I'm sorry, I don't think it's enough. Not enough to end the quite righteous anger of many ordinary Lebanese. Lebanon should be a prosperous country and will be a prosperous country. It will happen, but not if things go on the way they have been. Okay, there you are. Don't have to agree with me. I'm very opinionated. If you disagree with me, say so. Would be interested to hear from you, really would. But that's my opinion on Lebanon today, for what it's worth. God bless you. More to come.